Right to that breaking news out of the South Bay. A family dealing with tragedy after 2 children died in a house fire overnight. And right now, firefighters are trying to figure out how it started.
No, this is such a terrible fire. News 8's Chris Groh joining us live from Chula, Vista. You've been on this scene here since early this morning. What's the very latest now?
And Eric, Netta, things are starting to clear up. You can take a look at the house there right behind us. Probably the clearest picture that we've had all day now that some of the fire engines are starting to pack up. It does appear that they are done. So let's roll that video that shows that fire rolling there through the house. It really is gut-wrenching to watch it, knowing those 2 children inside, those firefighters rushing in to try to get them to knock down those flames, but at the same time knowing those 2 kids were inside, trying to make sure that they could try to get to them, to try to rescue them. The father, or a man who lives in the house, likely the father outside trying to do whatever he could with a garden hose, likely also burnt because we know that he's been transported to the hospital, letting them know where those 2 kids are. Again, everybody trying to do everything they could to try to get those kids out. Sadly, they did locate them, but it was too late.
It's a coordinated attack, so we have the engine company that got in first. They go right in and they're knocking down fires. The rescue team is right there searching. We had some intel. Again, I don't know where they found them in the house, but there was some intel from one of the adults as to where they might be.
And now the investigation is going to shift to answer a lot of questions that people have here. Where the fire started, how the fire started, were there smoke alarms that were either inside the home or maybe not, and exactly kind of what will happen now is the fire investigators, they'll be here on scene and they'll start to do their report and try to go through those scenarios, try to go through that. But again, this fire starting sometime around 12:20 in the morning, very early, likely this family sleeping at the time that this fire broke out. So again, a lot of those questions remain to be answered right now, but as soon as we do have some of that information, we'll be sure to bring it to you. Eric and Netta.
So heartbreaking to hear 2 kids' lives lost.
Thanks for the update there, Chris.
The former Navy petty officer convicted of a deadly crash over the Coronado Bridge and into Chicano Park is seeking a clean slate.
This is at the center of a big hearing later this morning, and News 8's Allison Royal is live downtown with a closer look at how we got here, as well as what we can expect in court today. Allison?
Well, good morning, Eric and Netta. So this former naval petty officer is going to be released. And in fact, this motions hearing is at 9 o'clock this morning here at the San Diego Downtown Courthouse here on Union Street. So this happened after he crashed his truck off of the Coronado Bridge and onto people at Chicano Park a couple of years ago, killing 4 people. Now, it is considered a DUI crash, although according to the court, his blood alcohol content was 0.06 rather than that legal limit of 0.08 or above. So Richard Sepolio's sentence was shortened for a couple of different reasons that I want to mention. One of those is good behavior. Another is serving time at a prisoner fire camp, where for every day he served there, that was a day knocked off of his sentence. And then the lastly is a COVID-19 prison population reduction program, and that shaved 3 months off of his sentence. Sepolio is expected to petition the court for early termination from parole and to have his record expunged, actually. The 28-year-old was released early last November after serving less than 3 years of a nearly 10-year original sentence. Maryman Contreras lost her parents living in Arizona after Sepolio's truck landed on them and said that her family will never be the same. Now, another person who's weighing in today is San Diego County District Attorney Summer Stephan. Now, she said that she reached out to Governor Gavin Newsom about why she believes Sepolio should not be released early.
The victims' families, obviously and understandably, wish that he was convicted of a more serious offense, but he was not.
And that was his attorney responding, saying that he served his time just like any other prisoner would, and for those reasons he should be treated just like any other prisoner and given the opportunity to be released early if the circumstances fit. Now, many prisoners in California have actually gotten out early because of this COVID-19 population reduction program. That hearing is at 9 o'clock this morning. Back to you two.
Allison, thank you. Homeland Security looking for more potential victims of a former preschool teacher convicted of child exploitation. Paul Torres has pleaded guilty to distributing child pornography and will be sentenced next month. He was arrested last June at My Room to Grow in Poway, where he was a preschool teacher. Investigators later found he worked at several preschools across San Diego, and we have a list of those schools at cbs8.com.
Hearings continue this morning on San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria's proposed budget. Many people spoke out against a $19 million increase in funding for police. They urged for the money to be reinvested into community programs instead. The city says much of this increase would cover rising pension costs, pointing out the budget also cuts police overtime by $4 million.
We're just saying we want the funds to be allocated into something that's actually going to fix the problem instead of just sending more people to police people and pull people over and, raise the potential for another person to get shot or locked in a cage.
Other people who called in during yesterday's budget review meeting criticized a proposed decrease of the library budget. They're proposing about a $5.5 million cut and cutting hours by 23%. But the city says it would spend $1.3 million more on library activities and materials, including more e-books.
Starting today, 3 vaccination sites will open later to improve access to the vaccine. They will now be open from 1 to 8 p.m. Walk-ins are available Sunday through Thursday at the North Coastal Live Well Health Center in Oceanside and the South Region Live Well Center in Chula Vista. And you can walk in Tuesday through Saturday at the East Public Health Center in El Cajon. Another local school district is set to vaccinate students. Hoover High School in City Heights will host a vaccination site next Monday and Tuesday. They will be administering Pfizer doses to students, families, and other residents. Appointments are not required, but anyone under the age of 18 does need a parent consent form. Sweetwater High and National City held a similar event last week.
There's a new push to reopen the Ocean Beach Pier, possibly as early as this summer. The OB Planning Board, they looked at options to fix the pier. That was their meeting last night. It's been damaged by storms, and a recent report found repairs could cost as much as $60 million, depending on the route they take. San Diego City Council President Jennifer Campbell says they'll hold more community meetings to take a look at what to do.
The first gender-integrated Marine company at MCRD San Diego will graduate today.
This is amazing. The Marines of Lima Company 3rd Recruit Training Battalion are the first group of both men and women platoons to train side by side. This is the first time in MCRD's nearly 100-year history. According to the Marine Corps, this inaugural company will help support permanent integrated recruit training. The graduation ceremony starts at 10 o'clock today with limited attendance, and then the graduates, they'll get to celebrate spending time with their families before reporting to Camp Pendleton for duty.
Congratulations to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, getting closer to the weekend here. Let's check in with Evan.
Hey, good morning. And not just the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, which a lot of people have their sights set on and want to, of course, check out what the weather's going to be like for that Sunday. So right now, things are looking toward another foggy day today. This will probably be the trend throughout the week and into the weekend. However, afternoon highs looking really nice outside. We've got those temperatures warming up toward about the seasonal average for this time of year. No longer are we saying hello to those, 80s and near 90-degree territory. We will not be in that above average range quite as much. However, we'll still hang on to some pretty warm temperatures by the afternoon. It'll still feel very pleasant outside under that sunshine. Outside right now, we're in the upper 50s and low 60s. Forecast highs are going to rest mostly in the mid 60s and upper 60s along the coast, mid 70s inland, upper 70s across your mountains, and deserts unaffected yet again. Upper 90s is what they're looking at with plenty of sunshine in the mix. We still hang on to some of those coastal clouds this morning, a little bit of fog possible, especially up toward the North County, but mainly just overcast as we kick off the day. A couple of those headlines there. Temperatures are beginning to cool down. We've got some clouds and fog throughout each and every morning to come. That little bit of gray out there for the AM hours. And near seasonal temperatures as we head toward the weekend, and really conditions as well, with partly cloudy skies at times making way for complete sunshine, especially off toward the eastern half of the county. Here's where your fog and cloud cover is reaching. You can see how most of your inland valleys are starting to see a little bit of trouble out there with overcast skies, but again, these clouds are not too low to the ground, so we're not really seeing much interference as far as that goes. Forecast for the afternoon brings us to the upper 60s. It's going to take some time for us to get there. Right now we're in the upper 50s, so we'll gain another about 10-15 degrees or so, and that will mainly be occurring between about 8, 10, and noon before we continue with those about average temperatures through the evening and maybe even see some sunshine by the evening toward about that sunset.